This is a Versamark stamp pad. It can be used to create a watermark stamp or for embossing. This stamp pad is clear and sticky, perfect for the heat embossing technique. For our projects, we will be working with clear, ultra-thick embossing powder and using a heat embossing tool. This particular model has 2 heat settings, which may come in very handy when embossing on vellum. To heat emboss an image, first stamp it into a Versamark pad and then place it directly onto the paper. Quickly pour the embossing powder over the image. It is essential to do this step before the ink sets. Tap off the extra and heat with our heat gun. Notice how the powder starts to melt. The image on the left-hand side is the watermark stamp on its own. The right-hand side is the watermark stamp treated with the embossing powder. To create ultra-thick embossed tiles, we will use a similar technique except we cover the entire surface of our paper. We repeat the process at least 3 times. Each time the tile gets thicker, smoother, and glossier. To create a cracked ice look, gently bend and fold the tile. Just do it until it cracks a few times. Careful not to overdo it as you may end up chipping pieces off. There are almost limitless uses for heat embossing, which can add a distinct look to your projects. You can use it on the edges of paper or other materials. To save on embossing powder, use a tray to catch the excess powder. This can be reused for future projects. This tool has extreme heat. Be very careful not to use against your work area or around flammable materials. Unplug when not in use and wait until cool before leaving unattended. Mica is a natural mineral and a fun accent for your cards. It can be purchased in tiles or flakes. These tiles can be separated into many thin layers. To ease in separation, gently bend back and forth, and then just peel apart the edges. For your projects, you can go as thin or as thick as you would like. There are several ways to attach mica to your projects. We can use brads and eyelets, or a clear adhesive. To adhere multiple thin layers, place adhesive between each one. This produces an interesting look. Unlike plastic, mica can be heat embossed. This material is very versatile. The best thing to stamp on mica with is a solvent ink pad, such as Stays-On ink. This ink dries quickly on mica. There are several different techniques to age or distress your paper. Protecting your workspace is essential. This felt ink pad is the best to give a stained look. Using an applicator, apply ink in a circular motion to your project. Ensure even coverage. Another technique is called direct to paper, sometimes referred to as slapping your paper. This gives you a completely different look from the applicator and is perfect for inking those edges. This direct to paper technique covers the entire work surface. Gently and evenly press the ink pad onto the paper. Again, you'll notice that this gives you a very different distressed look. Distressing paper with torn edges is very impressive as well. This technique gives you the illusion of a burnt edge. Using 4 varying techniques with the same ink will produce completely different looks. To wrap or create book covers, we need to use a mitered edge. To start with, we need 2 pieces of material. In this example, our cardboard measures 4 inches by 4 inches, and our blue cardstock measures 5 inches by 5 inches. Glue the cardboard down directly onto the center of the blue cardstock. Make sure you use lots of glue. By placing this into the center of our cardstock, this will give you a 1/2 inch border on all 4 sides. The key to a clean miter edge is a precise cut. On this corner, I have cut it far away from the cardboard tip. You will notice that when I fold the edges over, I have a large overlap. If this happens, you can trim it down. On this corner, I have cut too close to the cardboard tip. This has exposed the cardboard and can be seen from the front side. This corner will be perfect. As we fold the edges in, you can see how they match exactly. It may take practice to perfect the mitered corner. Color selection can be an important part of your card design. There are many ways to get color inspiration, including paint chips and the color wheel. Experiment with both for the perfect color combination.